Are you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Tool to Play presents Still Got Game with Derek D. Smooth Nolan and Joel Dude I Rock Albert.
This episode of Still Got Game is brought to you by ThinkGeek and the Craft Beer Club. Hey now, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Still Got Game, episode 336. Still Got Game is the official podcast of ToolToPlay.com. I am, as always, Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
I am Joel Dude I Rock Albert.
And joining us the entire show tonight will be Tiffany Electrified Nolan, because we're changing up the format tonight. Just a little bit. Because
I wonder why.
This was PAX East this weekend. So, normally, where the news portion of the show shows up, we will cut into some PAX coverage there, and we'll discuss what we saw, and Hit will be coming on too, and asking questions and giving his opinion. So it'll be fun. But to start out, though, we will start out with the show as normal. So we'll start off with feedback from last week's show. Remember, if you want to leave us a voicemail, it will cut you off after a minute. Shadow comments. A glitch being bannable is ridiculous. By definition, it's a bug in the game, which someone could accidentally do. The devs are at fault, not the players.
Yeah, he's taking a hard line to this. I mean, I kind of said it before. There's a gray area. I mostly agree with Shadow. I think I probably, on the show last week, sounded like I mostly agreed with Shadow.
Yeah, I think you did.
It depends. If it's a glitch that like literally ruins the game for everyone and it is the dev's fault, the gray area grows a little darker. But for the most part, I agree. If it's a glitch in a game that they should have every intention of fixing, then exploiting that glitch is really their fault. I mean, especially when it gives an advantage. Like I said before, a player will take advantage when an advantage is given, period. Yep. Some don't, and again, that goes back to morals, if you listen to the last show. But in a video game, I usually have none, so it's okay.
It's morals versus human nature.
Exactly it. That's exactly it. So yeah, good comment.
All right. Dude Chris comments. Good talking points last week on banning and penalizations for taking advantage of glitches, as well as the difference between glitches and bugs. Very informative. And I think, yeah, we did define that last week. We're like, that's a bug and that's a glitch. And we were talking about BXB and BXR versus these other glitches. So.
Like what's a hack versus what's a, because that's the thing is that, again, it's still a gray area. I don't consider us the people that are defining it, but we've been playing video games for a very long time. And I feel like at this point, when you're doing something that's totally nefarious and against terms of service and all these other things. I think that's an easy line to see. Glitches are a little bit different. And now, unlike in the past, you're seeing game companies actually put in, like the Division did, there's stuff in their TOC that's explicitly saying you can't really even do glitches, which is kind of a new thing because it's weird to see that kind of stuff in the TOC. It's programming fault of theirs that they want to set up sort of to make sure people don't actually use
protections for themselves. Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of weird. It's like, in case we fuck up, please don't do this.
Yep.
So it is a little strange, but yeah, it's I'm glad you found it informative. It was cool to discuss it to get to that point.
It was, because it took us a while till we really dredged it out. But yeah. All right. And last but not least, now we have what I believe to be our shortest comment ever. Green Soda comments. Good ep.
Not even episode.
Nope.
Not even episode.
Nope.
Good ep.
Good ep.
I agree. Yeah. I thought it was as well.
I did too. And it's really tough to get a comment that actually makes sense that's going to be shorter than that one. So
yeah, I
guess okay ep would be shorter. Or
okay ep would be good. I love just seeing Hit put it up on the screen because it looks even more weird. There's like all this blue space. You're like, is it even on there? Oh yeah, there it is. Good ep. All right, yeah.
Yeah, if they didn't know the difference between a and an, it could be a ep, and then yeah, but that would be bad English. So an ep would be the same as okay ep. But yeah, I'm not sure how you get smaller. Good GUD. I don't know, but yes, thank you Green Soda for your succinct comment. That was very nice of you.
For sure.
And if any of you have feedback, give us a call, 773-527-2961, or email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. And we're going to breeze right past site-related news because nobody has anything. And I'm not going to talk about what I'm playing right now, Jay, but if you want to talk about what you're playing this week.
Division.
No, what a surprise. Yeah.
I'll play. Even with all the bugs and glitches, that's the thing is I think if you go into Reddit right now or you just look at Twitter, right now, if you were a new player and you wanted to play the Division, you were looking for sort of some feedback from your peers, it would be the worst time ever. There is so much. I have not seen this much developer hate for a game, and it's totally warranted. I'd say 90% of it's warranted. There's ridiculous amounts of bugs in the game. It doesn't mean that it's not a great game, which is such a hard thing for me to do as a gamer and as someone that hopefully some people listen to, maybe 2 or 3, who knows. But it is still a good game, even though it is probably one of the most bug-ridden games of a AAA title that's been released since, I don't know, MCC maybe? Mm-hmm. It's pretty bad. But I am still playing and still enjoying it. So
well, that's good for you then.
Yeah, and that's what I've said. It's a good game. It just could be a great game.
I see a lot of people still playing it, so that's going to be a good sign.
It's still hanging on there. It's we'll see what happens in the next 2 weeks. I think they really need to start getting some fixes in. But if they can pull it off, I think it's going to be a game that stays around a lot. I think they made like $100 million in the first weekend. It was the highest selling new IP from Ubisoft ever.
Wow, that's like really narrowing it down. It's like it's released in the springtime in a even numbered year.
No, I don't. That's pretty general. The highest,
but by Ubisoft though.
By Ubisoft.
Yeah,
sure.
But when's the last time Ubisoft had a new IP? They rinse and repeat the same IPs. Yes,
but ever though. So like even Assassin's Creed when it came out, even any of those when they were new IPs.
Yeah. I guess it's still got a shine on it. Not as big a shine.
For their company, it's their biggest game. Let me distill it down.
Nice. Yeah.
So it's a good accomplishment. So we'll see. They're obviously going to support it, I guess is what I'm saying. I don't think they're just going to turn around and run. So. Yep.
All right. Well, there's on that. Then why don't we hop on over to new releases? Super short this week. Only one new release out this week. It's a multi-platform release, and it's Aliens vs. Pinball. It's out for the Xbox One, the PS4, the 360, the PS3, PC, Mac, and iOS. These are the latest tables out for Zen Pinball 2 and Pinball FX2. It has 3 Alien-themed tables, one based on Aliens, one on Alien Isolation, and one on Alien vs. Predator. The Zen Studio guys always crush these things out of the park. These tables look fantastic, and if you're someone that just wants some mindless pinball games to play, these are a good go-to on your console, and we're definitely going to be playing these two. We're going to add them to our list of tables that we already have. So. Yeah, I know, you're not a pinball guy, so that's cool. All right, well, on that, this is normally when we jump to Tiff in the news, but instead, we're going to talk a little bit about PAX East. And maybe as part of this, we can also speculate about E3. So we'll work this through. So, Tiff, do you want to start? Or you want me to start talking and we talk together? You want to go day by day? How would you like to do this?
We can do whatever.
All right.
I know you always like day by day because that's how you think through things. So.
All right. Well, I changed up the way I put in the outline just in case you didn't.
Oh, you did? Look at you.
I sorted them by game type.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay. We can do game type.
All right. So you want to start with shooters then?
Shooters. Okay. Now I
threw
yeah. Now I can look back through my notes.
We'll go day by day. All right.
All right. Wait. No.
All right. No.
All right. Let's talk Overwatch and Battleborn first.
Okay. So people have played the Overwatch beta at home. They played the Battleborn beta at home. Now I talked to the devs, and the code base that we played at PAX East for Overwatch is about 2 months more recent than what everybody played at home if they played Overwatch. The Battleborn was only about a month newer, but they are definitely newer than what people got to play at home. Tiff, what do you think? Well, why don't we start with your lesser of the two?
Battleborn.
Okay. What'd you think?
Yeah. So I really liked it. Unfortunately, when I did the playthrough, I picked a character that was kind of like a hack and slash character. So, you have only a couple seconds to pick your character and then you're kind of off. So you're stuck with whatever character you have. That's the way that their game is set up, is that they want you to stay with a character, no switching after death or anything, because the more kills you get, there's this kind of certain level of progression where you have the ability to kind of pick your upgrades, basically by right trigger, left trigger.
It's a very simple
it's very simple
upgrade tree. Yes.
Yeah, and you're trying to do this in the middle while you're playing, so you're basically like just picking whatever.
Yep.
But no, I didn't really enjoy it as much. It was very, to me, that was more MOBA-ish of the two.
Yeah. Certainly. Although it has a story mode that you can kind of play through with other people, that's not what they were showing off at PAX East. It was the MOBA mode, which if that's not your thing, then all you're left with is a first-person MOBA.
Right. No, who knows, what the story will be like, but I think it is drop in, drop out co-op, if I recall correctly.
Yep.
Up to 4 players. 5.
5, yeah.
Up to 5 players.
Yep.
So that may, be a better selling point on it. The graphics look great. I mean, the gameplay would probably be fun. I think maybe if I had a different character, I would have liked it better.
Yeah. It does have that kind of Borderlands-y art style.
It's the same artist.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, we should probably say it's Gearbox.
Yes.
Right. It is
built
Gearbox
by the developers.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah, so it has that same cell shaded art style. They even tried to bring in the kind of narrator commentator guy that's talking to you during the time. Reminds you a lot of Jack from Borderlands, just that over the top, funny, witty but snarky kind of nonstop commentary. So yeah, I hear what you're saying. So why don't you contrast that with Overwatch then?
Oh, okay. I will contrast that with Overwatch. I liked Overwatch a lot better. It felt much more natural to me. I don't know if it's because I played the beta once or twice on PC, but I hadn't played on a console yet with a controller. But the movements, the way to activate like any special moves or any specials, it felt much more natural to me. Like even like just the initial button mapping. Like I felt like it was much easier to just pick up and play. Whereas I felt like Battleborn wasn't quite as easy. Found myself kind of looking down at like trying to like wait, which button is for that? So definitely I think it had a higher barrier of entry.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I thought the best part of Overwatch was, and there's obviously a whole bunch of different game types, but the type they were showing off at PAX East was when both teams started, and the first thing you had to do was you had to go kind of assault and take this
capture
point.
A zone. Yeah.
And once you had that zone, then this big kind of rolling tank would show up, and you had to kind of
it turned into an escort.
Yeah, so then you escorted that all the way through the map to where you had to go, and the UI is great. It's really easy to figure out where you are versus where that is. If you don't like the class you're using, you can change it every single time you die and try something different.
Which was nice because I actually did get to try a couple different characters then, and it gives you a chance. If you did make the wrong choice, you're able to kind of fix that.
Yeah,
I definitely like the graphics on it were great too. The gameplay was super smooth. It's definitely on my list to pick up. I think we'll end up getting this.
Oh, this is definitely a buy in the Nolan house. This is probably one of my favorite games from PAX East.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Now, Jay, you played the beta of this.
Yeah, and if I've already pre-ordered it, I actually have it pre-ordered for PC and for Xbox One. So, nice. I mean, I could pretty much parrot the same things. For me, Overwatch is Blizzard at its finest. Where, like Derek said, the UI is absolutely fantastic. It's one of the best playing FPSs in terms of bugginess, right? For a beta to come out, it plays like butter. Yeah. And I mean that mostly from the fact that I'm on a PC. And so if anyone that plays PC games knows, they're generally the hardest things to get right. On an Xbox One, if it's buggy for one guy, it's buggy for everybody. It's not the same thing, obviously, on a PC. So for me, I played the beta for an entire weekend. I've been in beta access for the weekend betas ever since they came out. I sometimes get to do it. Sometimes I'm busy. But for the last one, I was in it the whole weekend and played for about 6 hours. You can see my stream on Twitch. I played through almost every character. I got pretty much everyone done except for a lot of the healers because I think they're just trash. But it's just not my style of play. I don't want to be a winged little girl healing.
Yeah. Right, but it's someone's style of play.
Yeah, but it's someone's style of play.
That's how it works.
And it's required.
Yeah, all of a sudden,
to do well, yes.
If your group has the wrong makeup, then somebody's going to have to take one for the team and switch up.
Right. Yeah, and I do like when you're even picking your characters, it tells you, hey, you have 2 support, you need a healer.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that Blizzard, so in their development process of World of Warcraft, what some would argue is been killing Warcraft is the hand-holding. But they have mastered the ability to let a gamer know from the minute they pick up a game how that game is meant to be played.
Yep.
Instead of a gamer going in against a bunch of other gamers that have been playing it for forever and not knowing what the fuck they're doing and getting annihilated.
Yep.
The great part about Overwatch is, like Tiff said, as soon as you start the game, as soon as you're trying to get into a game, all of the objectives and all the things that you're going to do once you get into this game are pretty much laid out for you. And I don't know if they had that starting point in the game where you're not even allowed to play until you
Right.
train, you play against the AI. There's 3 steps you have to complete.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, we
get
didn't have
into
to do that. We were dropped
Right, because I'm sure
in.
as a demo it makes no
But
sense.
I think
Yeah, yeah.
isn't that the one where you even have like the lighted way on the floor? Like it's telling you which way to get out.
Yeah, it definitely steers you to where your objective is. It's
Right. Like
this
there's
is-
no doubt where you're going.
Yep.
Yeah, so it lets gamers that are good excel very, very quickly, and then it lets gamers that are new at least know fundamentally how to play the game.
Yep.
And it keeps it it's stupid simple. The difference between Overwatch and Battleborn is I think Battleborn Battleborn's more of a MOBA FPS.
Yeah,
Overwatch
definitely.
is not a MOBA at all.
No,
I think a lot of people think that.
No, it's a FPS with
RPG-ish
some-
elements,
yes,
Yeah.
role-playing elements
Yep.
in terms of the style of character you're playing.
Yep.
Tank, healer, DPS, support, right? But really at its core, it is an FPS. It's just a really cool one.
Yep.
So yeah, like in my world, Battleborn looks very good. I'd much rather just have them make another Borderlands, and I'll just play that. Which, by the way, they
Well,
confirmed
speaking of, they did
that
announce.
Yeah.
they did confirm they will be making another. Yeah, no,
May or may not be called 3, but
Right, which is
but it's coming out.
it's coming out.
Well, that gives them a chance to reset the storyline.
What was odd was that he specifically said that they are going to start working on it as soon as this wraps up, which is odd because I assumed that they'd been working on a new Borderlands for at least the last 2-3 years. So that means the new Borderlands is probably fairly far away.
Right.
Yes.
If they're just going to start now. But yeah, in terms of the 2 games, Battleborn will be something I try. Whereas Overwatch, again, it's not totally fair because I've played Overwatch, but I already had pre-ordered Overwatch for the PC before I got into the beta. And after the beta, I actually bought it for the Xbox One because I want to play it with more of my other friends.
You can play with us. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's even further that I'm sort of sunk into. But I'll buy any Blizzard game that ever.
Nice.
Yeah, and I feel like we could probably play this with the kids too.
Yeah, it's not
it's
like it's
not-
not
gonna be
overtly violent. There's
Yeah.
it's not your
It's
Call of
still
Duty. It's not,
cartoony enough.
Yes.
to-
Right. Yeah, it is rated T for teen. So yeah, we'll definitely be able to play this with the kids.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. I'm
Alright,
glad
so-
you guys liked it too. It's good to hear
Yeah,
that. Like,
I really like it. Felt
Enjoy.
so much more like I don't know how to describe it. Just felt more natural and more comfortable. Whereas Battleborn, I felt like I just didn't know what the hell. Like it just
Battleborn.
it didn't fit.
It has all those confusing dynamics too.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, this time in order to open up the next room, we have to figure out where the power is coming from and kill the batteries. And you're like, oh, let me follow these lines down that have the current flow and kill it. It's like that's a little more complex than you need for a shooter.
Yeah, and I think that's where the origins of Overwatch started. And if you've followed that like development process, they really scaled. I think Blizzard does this now, where they have this grand idea and then they take away. They don't actually add. They used to do that, and that's how games like World of Warcraft got too complicated. But if you go and play WoW now, it's probably too simple.
Yeah.
As a gamer, I don't like it, but their methodology has really followed that. Hearthstone is very easy to pick up and very easy to play.
Yeah, you peel away the
And-
difficult stuff and you leave yourself with a quality game. Like when
Core game.
Tiff and I played this last year, when it was the very first time it was playable by anyone was at PAX East last year.
Yep.
And it was much more of a MOBA at that point. I still loved it, but it had the MOBA aspect to it, and that is now completely gone in the game. So, all right. Well, also in shooters, I think Doom is something that is phenomenal. So at PAX East, they did not show off the campaign, single player campaign, which is what everybody knows Doom for. But they brought out the Doom multiplayer, which I felt amazing.
It was fun.
Really?
But it was very fast paced. I can see why Derek liked this one.
It is fast. It's
It's
probably
super
faster than
fast-paced.
Unreal Tournament. Like
Yeah.
that's the speed at which you're moving. It's back to a fast shooter. And
Now you know that the internet has essentially said Doom is like the worst game.
yes, I understand
Ever.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
what they said.
It's just interesting to hear this because I literally just before the show was it I think some podcast or something I was hearing about how terrible Doom is for anyone that has beta access or has played the or the FPS piece of it for multiplayer. So explain why it's not terrible.
All right, so I'll tell you why they think it's terrible, because it doesn't play like a straight FPS. Your team, in addition to playing as a normal shooter, what happens during the game is your team eventually unlocks the ability to summon a huge fucking demon that comes out and kind of storms through the map on behalf of your team. And that thing is practically undefeatable.
Oh my god,
and
he'll so beast.
He touches you and you're one-shotted.
Right.
So,
or he picks you up and like pulls your legs off.
Yeah, or tears you apart. So
yeah, that pretty crazy.
That's the dynamic that changes up the straight FPS thing. So it adds something to the game where now you're no longer able to just go in and strafe and fight and then retreat. Now there's this other insta-death thing that's kind of roaming the map that you don't know where it is. And when you do see it, then you have to kind of adjust your strategy likewise to where you're going to go and take out your other team. So that dynamic could be unsettling for someone that's used to just a traditional FPS. I found it super annoying for the first 6 deaths I had in the game where I didn't understand really what was going on. And then once I understood how to play that to my advantage, I understood when they had it, where I could take high ground cover and lay rockets on them or whatever, where I could back up to. And then finally, when our team had it, I ended up pushing in with him, and I'm doing damage. So it's more of a cerebral thing until you understand what's going on.
But I think that's so I don't know enough about it, but I will try to consolidate the anger that I've heard about it. The biggest thing I hear is that it's no longer Doom. It's Halo 5. In fact, I think a lot of the developers worked on Halo 5. And actually, people feel like they really just ported that engine over and then put Doom on top of it. But that a lot of what they're doing is a regurgitation of Call of Duty abilities with Halo 5 abilities. And it's ruining what, to me, the core of Doom as an arena shooter was the ability to, you kill a guy, you pick up their gun, you use their gun, and guns change hands all the time. And that
Doom
piece
wasn't
was
an arena
away.
shooter. You're thinking Quake. Quake.
No, I'm thinking Doom. Doom is an arena shooter. Doom is a 100% arena shooter. And played not as Twitch as Quake was, but 100% arena shooter. And weird to see some of those things being taken out and having, because I know you only start with your gun, and that gun is the gun you have, right? Yeah. And then the other thing is like melee used to be a thing you equipped in Doom that you decided
you had to pick your fists, yes.
Right. You picked your
and you
fist,
saw them run around in front of you, yes.
Yeah, you had, and like
now it's like other games where it's just
right.
instantly available, yeah.
And because of that, the heart of Doom is gone, and therefore it's no longer a Doom game. That might be okay. That's my thing is like a guy looking in. To me, that might be okay because I don't think those games play like they used to. I think there's a lot of nostalgia that goes with the idea of that being fun back in the day, but it doesn't translate now.
When you played Doom, there was no Z-axis. Everything was turning and you're just shooting whatever's here. There's no up, there's no down. There's a guy up there on the shelf. I can't shoot him. I have to walk around through some other room and hallway to get up to his level before I can shoot him. So...
yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's definitely. I mean, did you feel the Halo? To me, that's the biggest complaint that I've heard.
It felt to me like a cross between Halo and I played Quake Live for a little while, and it felt very Quake Live-ish to me.
It felt it felt more like a Halo hybrid with Unreal Tournament because it had that sort of speed, like that. You felt like there's always that sense of speed where people always said Halo, you feel like you're running underwater. Unreal Tournament was one of the fastest shooters that you've ever played, especially on a PC when you can fucking, quick 180 mouse and snipe people or railgun or whatever you got. Like this had that sort of speed level to it where you felt like if you knew the map and you could traverse that map in no time and you could get positions on people. And I think that a lot of people are going to pick this up for the single player because Doom is
just for Doom.
Doom is Doom. And I think that they're going to end up to grow to love the multiplayer. Because by the time they get to the multiplayer, they're already going to know these big fucking demons and shit. And they're going to know, like, oh, this is how you have to take these guys down. And now they're part of multiplayer. It's just another tool for your team. It's almost like if you were playing a Halo game and after your team got enough kills, a big tank spawned. And you could follow your tank in, or it would go in and kill people until it got blown up. That's
well, like Hit brought it up. It's kind of like not the same. But Hit was saying it's basically the nuke of Call of Duty. It's not a nuke where you press one button and everyone dies, but it's like the ultimate, right? It's the same thing. And that to me is the problem is like it's like a lot of other things.
Yeah.
It's a Doom skin. I don't know.
I can see why people don't like it, but I can see why if you go in open-minded like I would have bought Doom just for the campaign.
Yeah,
just because
I know.
I'm a Doom purist. I love Doom back in the day, and I would pick it up just to play again. And the multiplayer, like actually that's what I thought they were going to have on the show floor. When they had the multiplayer, I was like, oh, let's try this out. And it was not what I expected. And initially I was disappointed, but by the end of playing through it, I felt so much better about it.
Now, Hit, are you going to pick up Doom? You don't care about Doom, do you?
I will not be picking up Doom. No,
Ooh,
no.
interesting.
I'm okay with leaving it in the past. Those
So
are
that's
good
so that's
memories.
interesting because that's like Hit's the guy that bought. For anyone that doesn't know, Hit buys every video game.
Yeah.
He buys every game
Yeah, I'm
and
very
plays
selective
every.
lately.
But you have been. I will say,
Yeah,
in your
very
older age
selective
now,
lately, yeah.
you're not. I feel like maybe you've been burned enough where you're not. You're not going to jump right into Doom. But it's not even something. It's still. It's not something that you're interested in picking up, even for the nostalgia of it.
No,
Right.
no. I didn't pick up Duke Nukem. I didn't
Well,
pick
you
up,
saved money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
you.
I
Good
didn't either. I
choice.
didn't either. Yeah.
Smartest thing you did. Yeah.
And that's been, I guess that's maybe a thing with me now is that I don't buy on nostalgia anymore because I feel like it's been so
You
far.
just get burned every
It's
time.
fucked me
Yeah.
over.
Yep.
That's true.
MCC is a nostalgia burn. You know,
Yep.
Duke Nukem, the worst nostalgia burn in the world. So far, there hasn't been anything that's been rehashed that's been good. So I feel the same way about Doom. I do. Maybe if there's a multiplayer demo that I can get my hands on, I'll give it a shot. But right now, I'm probably going to stick with the internet on this one.
All right.
Yeah, I think it also depends on the timing of when it releases too. Like what else
Yeah. If
is
Yeah,
around
what's
around the
those
same
sale
time? Because I
periods or-
could see it as a kind of a good filler game.
It's very true.
Yep. All right, and then in the first-person shooter genre, I got to play Lawbreakers.
Oh,
My boy
yeah.
Cliffy B, he has. No, we had already made up at PAX.
Oh, I know,
2011,
Jay.
But,
I know.
But oh my God, he has done it. Not only did he did not switch to third person. He's stuck in first person, and Lawbreakers is a fucking blast. This game was great. So this is a first-person shooter, PC only, which was awesome because I got to get back to my PC shooter roots. 5v5 gameplay. I obviously there's gonna be all the game modes when it comes out, but the game mode they were showing off on the show floor was a game type where each side basically had a base. Somewhere in the middle, a battery spawns, and you got to grab that battery, take it back to your base, and put it in the charging pad. Once it gets up to 100% in your base, then a 20-second countdown timer starts, and when that countdown timer starts, your team scores. At any point, the other team can take that battery, bring it back to their base, drop it off there. So that gameplay is kind of immaterial. It basically a multi-class shooter. You get to change classes each time you die. So there's kind of an assassin class that has like a grappling hook and a knife. You can grappling hook onto shit. You can grappling hook onto someone else. So even if they're running away, you kind of get sucked over them. You can stab them. There's a heavy weapons guy. There's I don't know. The game was phenomenally fun. I had a blast with it. Had one of the biggest lines of the show. People when the doors opened, people were literally running to get in line for Lawbreakers. So I don't know what the buzz outside of PAX East was for this, but the buzz inside the show floor was that everybody loved it.
I mean, it's definitely anticipated, and obviously there's some people that are associated with it that makes it interesting, right? I think having the name wrapped around it probably does help it. It looks like a decent arena. In fact, did it play like an arena shooter? Because people are saying it's a little more fast paced.
It's a little faster paced than an arena shooter. It doesn't have nowadays the things that arena shooters usually put in there, like the esports kind of viewing stuff. So it doesn't have all that, but maybe that's just a not yet thing because this is super early for them.
Right, they're in alpha, right? It's not even.
Yeah, you were even surprised to see the game there.
Yeah, because I didn't think it was going to be there because it's super early. But this was like right now, anybody can go to Lawbreakers and sign up to get early access to the alpha. It's coming out on the PC anytime now. So highly recommend any PC shooter players to go out there and sign up for this because it's a blast. But this is so early on and it was so polished. That was the biggest surprise for me because I didn't think this was show ready until maybe next year at E3. Forget this year at PAX East, playable on the show floor. It was crazy. So
what did it remind you of? Like, if you had to mix
where
two
can you
games,
draw the parallel?
For me,
it's always the best way to do
tell
it.
me if you agree. To me, it kind of looks like what was that game that Epic did where you could like grab a guy with a rope and like pull him in and then punch him. Forgot the name of that game.
And wasn't that Cliffy B's game too?
Yeah, it was an Epic game.
Yeah.
Okay.
We all know what we're talking about.
Yes, a cross between that game and Titanfall.
Yeah, it's got a little Titanfall to it because of the gravity stuff involved.
Yeah.
Because
like
there's two teams. There's the
moving around
law
and
and the
shit.
breakers, but you're also breaking the laws of gravity the whole time. Like there's
Right.
different people have different things that can help them out in that. But yeah, it has the Titanfall aspect, and then also reminds me kind of a lot of the old school. Early on, when Quake got its first CTF mod, and you had CTF with a grappling hook, and that kind of aspect is in there, but then also has all the same kind of classes you had back in the day, except you don't have like the medic and the guy making the engineer and all that stuff. But different classes, but all shooter based classes, or at least assault type classes. Right. So it does have that aspect to it, and it's whatever that old Epic or Apogee game that Cliff worked on, 15 years ago. It definitely has taste of that in there, and I think that's why people are clicking onto it. It's super fun. Obviously, PC only is going to be an interesting thing, but that's one of the selling points that Cliff goes to is like this is where the shooter audience started. This is where they're going to be, and these are the guys that are serious about playing the shooters. So.
I agree with that. And there's been talk that it might even be free to play, which I think will be interesting.
No, that one, that's when they launched. He made a big announcement about that this weekend. So when it launched, it was originally going to be free to play with some other stuff. That he and Nexon decided that it's going to be a legit release. No recurring type free to play.
No microtransactions, none of that. So you just buy it and that's it.
Buy it and you're done. Yeah.
Interesting.
Which makes it more attractive to people. Like some people are like, well, I can get it free and just play it. But other people are like, well, if I'm going to play it and win, I'm going to have to pay. Otherwise, you sell it out front and that you don't have that fear that someone else is paying to kick your ass. So
I think that's a real fear. I mean, I think with Tribes, when it was released, there was a couple things. Tribes 2, when it was released, I think a lot of people felt like it was pay to win or could be pay to win. And there's just when it comes to an FPS, especially an arena shooter, people want to feel like that they can get into the game and play the game and not have to work to build things to get to a point to be good. And sometimes free-to-play games just inherently have to do that.
Yep.
If they do it right, it's usually just cosmetic and it means nothing. But a lot of times it's hard to do that to really push sales. And so they'll add small things like XP boosts. And
something gives you an advantage.
Something that will get you somewhere faster. Yep. So, a game like this is an FPS, if this is all it's going to do, if it's priced right, then I think I would pick it up. I don't think I'd pay $60 for a game like this on the PC.
When's the last time you paid $60 for anything on Steam?
Never.
No, it's like even when titles launch at the same time, it's like Xbox One, PS4, $60. Steam, $39.99.
Yeah, like a week later.
Yeah.
They're like, it's on sale.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, it would be one of those games where I'd pick it up just to see how he still as a game developer, how he's tried to change the game, so to speak. Yeah. Especially so close to Gears of War coming out too, which is kind of ironic. But I mean, I'd give it a shot. It definitely looks interesting. I mean, just by looking at the screens and looking at the videos of it, it looks like it's got potential.
Yeah, I actually did not play that one.
Yeah, that was
because it was PC only, so that's definitely a turnoff for me.
And I understand that too, but who knows? Maybe it's super successful on PC and eventually it comes to consoles.
Yeah, I wonder if they'd reverse it for Xbox.
I think so. Yeah. I think it sounds like the
market-wise, it's such a lot of money to turn down.
It's a lot of money. Yeah. And I think a lot of these times when you're releasing a game on Steam, it's clearly a smaller studio. This isn't like a mega AAA studio.
Yeah.
So it's a proof of concept as well in a weird way. If it excels and people enjoy it, it makes a lot more sense than to put the investment in to do a console port and bring it to the console. I think a lot of it is Cliffy B being Cliffy B saying like, we're doing this for PC people because they're hardcore. Yeah. Well, it also costs a shit ton of fucking money to do all three systems at once.
That's true too. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny you bring that up because there was actually two other smaller studios that had some games there that I really, really liked. And they were both coming out on PC and PS4 first. They had to pick two platforms to go with, and apparently PS4 was the easier one, lower barrier of entry.
Interesting.
Much. But I heard this from like multiple studios while we were there. So I don't know what's going on with Xbox supporting some of these smaller studios, but they're definitely getting the love from the PlayStation, from the Sony team.
Yeah, I've heard this too. I think the initiative that they just put out, which I think we talked about 2 shows ago or 3 shows ago, that every machine is now a dev box. I'm hoping that brings more people to Xbox. I think the barrier to entry was always hard for an indie studio to get into Xbox. And if you guys remember for PS4 when it was launching, their big deal was like anyone can do anything on this box. Yep. Like that was a big initiative for them, and I think Microsoft's finally playing some catch up there. So
yeah, I hope so.
Hopefully that matters
because these were some pretty cool games.
Yeah. And then last in the shooters, I saw this thing, which is not really a shooter. It was a first-person small indie game called Seum, S-E-U-M. And it was a first-person speedrunner game, which was super fun. I had a blast with it. Indie studio, but once I can get my hands on this, I'm going to stream it and show everyone because I can't wait for people to play
this is one of those that I had seen like a little video of it. It was one of the media emails that we got, and I'd looked at, scrolling through a bunch of their games, and the screen on the one was like this guy like going, "Rah!" And I was like, what the hell is that? So I went and clicked it and looked at the a little demo video, and I was like, we're walking around. I'm like, Derek, you got to go check this one out. And he's like, oh no, that's some stupid indie game. That looks dumb.
It was a first person non-shooter. That's just like, you start here, you get to the finish, tons of different game dynamics, super fun time. But yeah, once we can talk more about this, I'll talk about it on the show, and we'll stream it, and we'll have a good time.
Sounds good.
All right. So Tiff, what do you want to talk about next?
Well, I only had one. I had one other shooter, but I'll just mention briefly. Shadow Warriors 2. I did play that. So it was an old Shadow Warriors. They're bringing smaller studio, bringing it back. Bought the IP, so they have the game in development. It seemed pretty cool. It was fun. Kind of a shooter RPG type game. Lots of things to shoot, lots of things to make explode. You can use your environment to kill your enemies. Things like that. So that's another one of those. I think it depends on the release date, and what else is around the same time. I may end up picking that one up if the price is right.
All right, fair enough. All right, where to go?
You want to talk about smaller studio games?
Sure.
Or do you want to talk about VR next?
We can talk about VR because everybody loves VR.
Yeah, let's talk about VR in case we don't get to the other stuff.
So, in the past, we've both tried Oculus Rift. I think we've both tried the Vive, or maybe just me. Or
I think it was just you.
Okay, so this was our first chance to try PlayStation VR, and I was somewhat mildly, slightly more than that impressed. Like
you were.
It was not. Still, the Vive to this day is the best VR out there.
Yeah.
Bar none, and not only just because it's a better quality, but it also has that you can set the area.
Full range motion.
Full range of motion VR instead of just you're in VR. The Rift looks awesome. You get to the Sony VR, and it does not seem to have the same resolution as the other guys.
It did not.
But you're talking about $400 on the top of your $400 console.
Right.
So you're entering at such a lower price point.
Yep.
So
I mean, and you can definitely see that it's not as high quality, but it is. If you want to check out VR, it's maybe a good way to go.
Yeah. So the game I played on it, despite it being seeming lower res, I played this game called The London Heist, which was super fun. So basically the way it works is you have both of the Move controllers, one in each hand. You got the goggles on. And mine was basically you're in the middle of the street chase portion of this thing. You're in the passenger seat of a car. Someone else is driving. You've got a gun, and there's a bunch of clips in the car, and you hold in one of your Move controllers. You pick up a clip, you slam it into your gun, and you're shooting motorcycles and bikes. Kind of like an on-rails shooter, but in VR. And it was really fun. And for the general populace, this is all they want from VR. So I think Sony has a decent entry in, looks a million times better than what we saw in the 1980s. It's definitely not on the tier of the Rift and the Vive,
right.
but it's definitely a solid contender.
Now, do you think it's going to be good enough, though? I mean, I've heard one of the biggest complaints, even with the Vive, is the quality needs to be so high because the human eye can detect anything and everything when it's that close. In fact,
that
60
was one of the
frames
things
per second isn't even enough to create the realism. 120 is really what they're trying to get to. If it's at a lower quality, could you spend 3 hours with this thing on your face?
I don't think so. I noticed, that the resolution that it just, I kept trying to like squint my eyes or, trying to make it come into focus a little bit more. And I don't know if maybe just my unit was not calibrated right for me or what. But yeah, I definitely, the quality just, it wasn't there. I don't think you could play it as long. I think the eye strain is definitely going to be much greater.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the same thing too. I think it's certainly that lower res, you have a limited amount of time with it, but I still feel like it's enough for people, especially for PlayStation fanboys, that they're going to probably jump all over this.
Yep, we'll see. I don't know.
All right.
And
Hold
then
on.
did you
One quick question.
Yeah, absolutely.
How is it pronounced again? Vive?
Oh my god, I did ask
I
this. No
call it
one
the
knows.
Vive.
I heard
I
it's
call it the
Vive.
I say Vive.
Yeah.
I say Vive.
I always make sure I say both, and I alternate every time I say it, so that I'm always covered. I'm
Like, I was right at one point.
Yes, at some point I said it the right way.
I even asked like one of the PR guys at one of the booths, like that was doing VR, and he's like, I think it's Vive.
Yeah, nobody knows. So if you say it both ways, you're covered.
Okay, just making sure.
All right.
So one other VR game that I did have a chance to check out was called Faded. So this was their booth was really cool. I don't know where I think this studio was out of Canada. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes here. I know you love my notes.
We got limited time with Jay.
It's
So.
I know.
Props right now because it's from Canada. That's all.
Yeah. So it's a Canadian company that's doing this, and it's actually out this week for Oculus. But the way that they had their booth set up, they did just a really cool setup, like specifically just to bring the game there for PAX East. In the booth, they actually had this like wall unit that had these 2 horse reins coming out of it. And when you went in to do it, you sat in what looked like a bench that was part of like an old wooden wagon. And so you sat on the bench and you held the horse reins while you had the headset on. And basically, the way it started out is you're in the wagon, you're with your family, and you're just kind of trudging up this hill. You're trying to like move your hands back and forth to navigate the horse. But it ultimately ends up like there's these old gods there that are trying to like destroy you, but you end up going like up this hill and down this hill, and then things get a lot faster. So you're like trying to make sure you don't go out of control. One point during it, you went past a waterfall. So the way that they had the booth set up is they actually had like a mister and a wind fan in the booth too. That was like blowing on you, like blowing mist on you.
Doing this in their house?
They're not, but this was all part of their.
They did it way more than you could ever get in your house.
They went like way over the top.
Like the 2 reins are going to be bugged.
I can't wait to have like Amanda and ask her like, okay, now just throw this water in my face right now. Throw it in my face right now.
I know.
This is fun.
That would be so awesome. And I don't know. Maybe these are some add-ons for VR. Then you sit in like a special chair and you get wind on you or you get misted. I don't know.
4D or 5D.
They'll have some smells come out.
Yeah, I talked about, which is like in the arcade setting of VR. If we had a story about this where in the future we may see arcades again, and these arcades will be VR arcades. And if they are, this type of stuff could actually be something you see there, where it's more of an environmental-based VR that is legitimate to the story that's going on that you're seeing behind the VR glasses. But yeah, I mean, it sounds cool. It just sounds like
it was definitely my best VR experience that I've had yet. But again, how does that translate to the home? Yeah. I'm not sure. It was a lot of fun though.
Nice.
If we had VR right now, I'd probably pick it up this week.
All right, that's a good. Oh, someone pee on me now. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So, Tiff, since Jay's got limited time, why don't we jump on to stuff we liked?
Okay.
So I'll tell you a game that Tiff and I both loved.
Oh my God, we love this game.
This was from a small studio. If you love Portal, there is this game called Death Squared that's coming out for right now. It's going to be first out on PC, later out on the consoles. It is one of those 2 or 4 player like cooperative puzzler games that gets everybody like, oh no, I have to do this, you have to do this. Everybody's talking to each other.
You got to move there at the same time I'm moving to this spot.
Yes. So it definitely has that Portal feel to it where you're trying to solve a puzzle and working with your peers. And when you finally do it, like Tiff and I played the first time with 2 other people there, we finally finished one. Everybody's high-fiving,
like
celebrating.
yay, like cheering.
So Death Squared.
It is one of those. I don't think that how we describe it can do enough to really explain how fun it was. Yeah, we actually ended up staying in this booth for 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
For Derek, like this is unbelievable. And we were playing the entire time.
Yeah, this was good. So these guys are actually sending me their alpha bits not the cereal, but their the actual bits that they showed off at the show. And once we have it set up here, Tiff and I will probably stream it and show people what it's all about. But yeah, if you love Portal, this is a game for you.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
Yep. What do you want to talk about, Hun?
So I also liked Hob from our friends over at Renit Games. That was one of the smaller studio games. We checked it out. They do Torchlight and Torchlight 2, which I know a bunch of us play, and we'd even had some codes for at one point. This is not a co-op game at all, but it's a single player, and you're basically building the world around you. And again, this is more like a puzzle-solving type game. But as you kind of unlock certain things, the world moves and changes, and then you're able to like go on to different areas. You also have like this glove that kind of like you can apply different upgrades to it. So one of them was electricity. So at a certain point, you have electricity in your glove, so you could start reaching these like electric lights to get higher up onto some of the walls around the world. But it was a lot of fun. It was definitely much more low-key type game if you just kind of want to chill and relax and play something. But it's also one of those, I think, that you could end up playing for hours and not even realize it.
Yeah, I could see that.
And the graphics were amazing on it. Like, it was really a really high-quality game.
Nice. I'm trying to think what else. I saw tons of stuff from Wargaming.
I want to hear about Mirror's Edge. You guys didn't talk about it.
Oh.
Did you get...
Oh, yeah.
Did you get to play Mirror's Edge? Because I'm excited for it.
I played
played
the shit
this
out of it
evening.
there. Tiff played it here at home. I'll post it. I'll send you a beta code. It expires tomorrow, Jay, because it ends, but it was just this weekend only. But it was awesome. Super fast. Just like the first one, better graphics. Same sort of parkour mechanics.
Right.
I had a blast with it.
That's awesome. That's good to hear because it's one of those games where it's a sleeper cult hit now. It wasn't as popular when it came out, but I think as time went on, people have grown to love Mirror's Edge and have been dying for Mirror's Edge too. So I'm hoping it follows. Like, I'm hoping they're not trying to. It's one of those games where I don't want them to reinvent too much because I like what it is. So I'm hoping it follows the majority of how the game played before because I always thought it was a really well done game. So.
No, it appears to be the exact same thing, which is all.
It's good for me. That's all I want.
Just constantly running, grabbing things, jumping around. I'm really bad at it.
I was too, so it'll be interesting to get back into it and like play it hardcore.
Yep. Oh my gosh, I know. I see you in chat.
Yes, yes. All the kids are here. Actually, and Solar Attacks had a question in chat about next Elder Scrolls game. Well, we know that the next Elder Scrolls game is a card game.
Yep, we saw it
from PAX
You guys
East.
saw it, right?
Yeah, we saw the shit out of that.
I walked by it like 10 times and when people were like, do I want to try it? Do I not? I'm like, nah.
No.
It's just just another card game.
To answer his question, I mean, it's such a big game. There's no way Bethesda is going to give it up. The IP will not be lost by Bethesda. It's too large of a game. I don't think it's going to be an MMO like you've seen with the Elder Scrolls, how it is now. I guarantee you there will be a Skyrim 2, maybe not called that, but that universe will always extend. It's too big of a game. It's a huge hit. It's Bethesda's baby, really. So yeah, when you ever see the card game at PAX,
I know.
the IP is secure.
Yeah, it's just they just
so
holding on.
underwhelmed.
They're just making sure you have a taste of that IP.
Exactly.
It's like,
the
hey,
next
remember
big
us?
thing. Yes, yeah.
That's what it is. Like, we're busy building something,
Right.
So we'll give you this card game, and then
Which has all your favorite characters in it.
Right, exactly.
No, they're definitely something's coming, and this is just your tide me over to keep the universe alive.
Yep.
Good question, though. Good question.
Tiff, anything else you want to talk? Like, I have one more thing I'd talk about.
I think I know what your one more thing to talk about is. So we'll go ahead and skip over to some peripherals that we saw on the show floor.
All right. So this new headset from Lucid Sound, these guys have nailed it. Like, I've been an Astro guy forever. Before that, I was a Triton guy. So these guys have culled guys from Astro. They've culled guys from Triton. They've culled guys from Mad Cats. And they have this new headset, like, price point set to sell. Doesn't look like you're like me right now. I'm like a commander. I got this. I can pull down my mic. Like you want something that looks like Beats but sounds like the best gaming headset you ever used. These Lucid Sound guys have it. It's wireless, 7.1 surround. Their own little dongle that you plug in the USB port on your console takes the PCM bit stream in.
It's like amazing technology. Like it's definitely cutting edge.
Yeah, their user experience for it is like both sides are round, not giant and rectangular. One side you can turn and it changes your game volume. The other side you turn and it changes your chat volume. You want to mute your game, boom. You want to mute your chat? Boom. You tap either side and it's muted. When you mute your chat, the end of your fucking mic's boom here lights up blue. Like, so you're like, oh, I'm muted. I can see it's blue. Oh, now I'm not muted. Now I am. Has multiple equalizer settings, all wireless.
Now, does it have a mixer or is it non-mixer? Is it all done through
because the mixer are your two things. So you're independent.
I was going to say, so that is your
so
mixer.
That's your,
so you can change whatever level you want the game volume, whatever level you want the chat volume. So they're independent. So you don't have a separate mixer. It's all right on the headset, and the headset's not huge.
It was very lightweight. It had some really nice high quality leather. It felt good. Like, I usually don't like the bigger headsets because they feel big and bulky, especially the ones that like completely cover your ears.
Yeah, I don't like full cover headsets.
Yeah,
it's
I don't
actually
either.
A pet peeve of mine. I don't like full
these
cover
these were super comfortable. And the quality of the audio, like, I don't know what they're doing in their little magic dongle, but it sounded insane.
It's
all right, Hit. What?
All right.
Because you're a huge headphone guy, so like I want to hear from you.
This is the most important thing to me when it comes to a gaming headset.
Yep.
Are you able to plug it into the console and not have to worry about plugging in the stupid little
there's
cable?
no puck in the controller.
It's all
No
USB,
puck.
right?
It's completely wireless.
Yeah, it's USB to the console, and
all right.
whether
That's what I
PlayStation
wanna
or
hear.
Xbox One, the only thing it has is the dongle itself. When it plugs in the USB cord of the console, you also take out the optical out and go into the dongle.
Okay.
So it gets
so it feeds the actual...
gets the 7.1 bit stream right there.
Yep.
And
and
everything
it does
else
its
is
own
wireless.
audio processing in the dongle.
Yes.
And that sends out the
So-
signal to the headset.
So
Are these out now?
yeah, they're
Yeah.
out now. They were
might
they
buy
were
a pair.
selling up the show at a discount, but check this out, $150.
Oh, it's totally worth it.
I know,
spend that.
it's insane.
Yeah.
Done deal.
So they went out to not only smash the market but smash the price point, and they fucking nailed it. And the PR guy that works for them now, I've known forever from Mad Cats. He left there to go here. A bunch of guys we know from all these other companies went there.
Well, Brad knows all those guys. So BC Kinetic, a friend of ours, and actually Brad, I think you guys just hung out like a couple weeks ago.
We talked about this last show.
One of his really good friends went over there, and I think Brad had a pair of these a while ago, and he was trying to shill them to us. It's funny with friends because he was like, I got this buddy, he's got this new the headphone company, they're amazing. We're like, shut the fuck up.
Like, whatever.
No one gives a shit about your dumb friend and his crappy headphones.
He's not a name brand. What the
right?
Right. Like, I don't know this fucking brand, but now that they're like becoming a part of the gaming ether, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll totally buy these, which is going to be hilarious because Brad's going to be like, fuck you. I told you 7 months ago about these things and you laughed at me.
I could have given you one for $50.
Totally, right? Like, I'm paying the full
hear your
amount.
voice. It has voice monitoring, just like the high-end headsets. You want to hear your voice as you turn up the voice. You can hear yourself in there too. It was these. I went there for my own appointment, and then I dragged Tiff back with me so she could hear these things. And we didn't even have an appointment for that.
Right, but I think Blue Steel's question is like, can you hear the environment out? Is it a full...
So he has
closed
he has
or
two
open?
things. So
Is
it's
it closed or
It's
open?
closed.
It's closed.
Because you can't hear, like, if someone's talking to me...
No, you're not going to be into
No.
well, unless you have the volume low enough. But
Right.
But can you hear yourself? Can you hear your voice in the ear? That's the important part. Yeah, because I love that on my my Elite controller. It has that when you plug in the bottom there, you can hear yourself. So that is an option on there too, and that's all controlled.
I love that
the
too.
same things. Yes.
Yeah, that's a big deal with me.
Oh, and because they're wireless, they have a little mini USB recharger. 2.5 hours gives you 14 hours of gameplay. So
yeah, I love that they're completely wireless.
yeah, not bad at all.
Wait, I forgot the name of the company. What is it again?
Lucid Sound. Tiff just put it in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I don't know how many units they brought with them to the show floor, but they sold out on Sunday.
Yeah, they were the hotness there. So
Yeah.
so hopefully we'll pick one of these up and we'll do a review here and let everybody know. But yeah, from what I heard on the show floor, these things were amazing. And they actually wanted to pull one of my quotes, but then the other guy said they might not be able to. I said the leather was so soft it felt like you had a baby's ass on your ear. So, yeah, it is that soft.
Yeah. They were nice. Very nice.
All right. Do you have anything else for PAX before we run through the end of the show here, hon?
No, I think that probably covers it.
All right. So
one quick
Just
question.
just overall thoughts on the
Before
show.
you close it, how were the parties?
parties were amazing.
Okay.
We did some IGN parties. We did the Twitch party, obviously, which was amazing and insane and over the top. And they once again filled Jillian's Boston 4 floors, and everybody who was anybody was there, and it was a good time.
It was lots of fun.
But obviously, it wasn't as good as our party. And
No, nothing is
Our Gamers Gone Wild party.
Yeah, just making sure. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
Nothing
will ever touch that. But if you had to go to a second, this was right up there. So. And I guess what Tiff's saying, the other thing we noticed for just the general thing, this was probably the most people I've ever seen at PAX East ever.
Yep.
Wow, really? I'm so surprised with
Sunday.
there wasn't that many games there.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. You don't think there was that many games, but it literally took us until the 3rd day to make it the whole way around the floor.
So what they did, Jay, if you remember the show floor at all, like the there's that one big room, and the back of the room used to be reserved for the queue line and some other stuff, like way back behind the tabletop stuff. Now only 1/3 of that back is for the queue line, and the rest of the queue line goes through the convention center in the morning.
Yep.
Because they
moved the tabletop back.
Yeah, they moved everything back and spread the show further back. Like literally, they're almost at capacity on this convention center.
But then, so is it mostly indie games? Then, like, what are they filling it with?
There were a ton of indie games and smaller studios.
And that's the other thing that was the big change is indie games no longer look like indie games. Like
that is very true. It's a different world nowadays.
Everybody has access to these fucking engines. Like it's insane. Some of these games you look at and you're like. What do you
like? Are you kidding me? Like how many people are working on the game? Oh, there's just 3 of us. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like,
it's no longer indie games they don't have to be shitty 8-bit things anymore. There was that one period where everybody's like, indie game that means 8-bit.
Yeah, it means a phone. Everyone's like, oh, you're an indie developer. You're on iOS, right?
Yeah, right.
Like you're making phone games for it's like the Ouya. But no, now indie games can be AAA looking games. And I even tweeted that to one of the guys. I was like, your game is fucking as good as some of the AAA games I played at this show. And
if not better.
Yeah. So I think that's the thing is the smaller studios now are getting a bigger showcase at these events. And it's not the shit that everybody's walking by. People are actually waiting in line to play indie games.
Yeah, I remember the first couple of years, you go back towards the indie area, there's like no one back there. And I feel like it was even more crowded this year than I've ever seen it. And at some points, it seemed even more crowded than the main area where all the AAA titles were.
Yep. It was crazy.
That's cool. You know what I mean? Like if that's what it turns into, at least then it's different than every other game show out there. That's a good thing.
Yeah, because no one goes to Kensha Hall at E3.
Right,
like
exactly.
The downstairs basement hall with the indie games.
Where even is that?
Game. I don't think Tip has ever even been.
No, wait.
Derek and I have.
Is that where you went for that one dinosaur game?
No. Even that you don't have to go there. This is This is a place that you never have to go at E3 ever. But it's a hall full of the dregs of society.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I've ever been there.
Yeah. All right. So. I think that kind of wraps up our PAX coverage, and we'll skip over the what the fuck story. We'll save that for next week, and we'll just finish out with the mailbag and voicemails. Blue Steel asks, Did you ride the T-Rex at PAX East? Duty, how is Division DLC? D-Smooth, how is the Destiny DLC? No, we did not ride the dinosaur at PAX East because the line to get your picture taken on a giant T-Rex was 2 hours, and we had much better stuff to do.
And you're adults.
Yes, and also we're adults. The Destiny DLC I love. I've been playing. I love it. Leveling up. Jay, Division DLC.
DLC is shitty. Yeah, the Division DLC is shitty. Yeah, Incursion's the worst thing they've ever put in the game for sure. Yeah.
See, Blue.
It's shitty.
Aren't you glad you asked?
But it's free shitty.
But it's free shitty. Yeah. So like for me to be angry is kind of like, oh, you gave me free shit. I don't like it. I'm just gonna not play it. So
nice. Also, Altius asks, now that PAX East is over, what was your impression on the general public's acceptance of VR? I think that, well, let's take this for example. My cousin ended up going randomly to PAX East this year with his wife. They only got Friday and Sunday tickets. They went Friday. They spent Friday making appointments for Sunday for VR things so they could come back and check them out.
Interesting.
And they loved what they saw. And, I think that this is now the point where there was enough buzz beforehand that people wanted to see what it was all about, and when all was said and done, they checked it out. And they liked it. They liked what they saw.
Yeah,
again,
so.
Yeah, you've gotta try VR to like VR.
Yeah.
We've said it a million times, and these are the places to do it. So I'm not really surprised that that's an outcome.
Yeah, they had a whole section of the floor was kind of all the VR places. Like Sony, of course, had their booth, but then there was this whole other section, like on the back side of the Microsoft booth. It was pretty much just funny that it was the Microsoft booth, but it was this whole row of VR stuff that you could just line up and try out.
Yeah. That's the thing is until people try it, you don't know what you're missing. So that's why everybody wants to just get it in the hands of the people. So the demos are kept reasonable length and they keep people churning in and out. And even the Sony booth, you couldn't pick what you were going to demo. You got there and you got whatever was next available. But it was good for keeping people trying things. Oh, and Sarcasmo Jones in chat is saying that we should get Altius to write all of our interview questions and have him come to.
God, that's such a great idea.
Yes. Oh, and obviously my daughter Caroline is causing enough trouble in chat that Blue Steel is saying that we should. No, Sarcasmo is saying we should take Caroline to E3 because that would
you should.
That would quiet her down in chat at least.
Well,
yes.
yeah.
This is what happens when your kids show up.
Yes, we'll think about it.
Yes. But yeah, it was the key to this whole thing was getting VR in people's hands. It's exactly what Altius asked is the more people that tried it, the more people that were hooked. And the word of mouth that you heard from people at parties and everywhere else was all, did you check this out? Did you check that? And it was mostly VR stuff. So I think they did their job.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we had that story a couple of weeks ago talking about how they're going to have the PlayStation VR and a bunch of, was it GameStops?
Yeah, the PlayStation VR kiosks are coming to GameStop.
Yeah, so that's definitely going to be worth it for them. And the show just even proved that more, that really once you get it in their hands, that people do love it.
Yep. Yeah, most definitely. All right. Well, great questions, Blue Steel, as always, and Altius, as always. And if you have anything you want to ask us, give us a call, 773-527-2961. Email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. You can also comment to this episode's thread on the Tool to Play homepage. And sponsors. Remember, by supporting a sponsor, you help support Tool to Play and Still Got Game. Now, first sponsor, Think Geek. You're going to go there and shop anyway. Go to toolplay.com/geek and buy your stuff there. Craft Beer Club. You're going to buy a craft beer subscription for yourself. You're going to buy one for someone you love. If you're going to do that and you want some free pint glasses or anything else, go to tooltoplay.com/beer. Buy it that way. It helps the show out. tooltoplay.com/geek. tooltoplay.com/beer. And if you want to sponsor us, 773-527-2961. Email us podcast@tooltoplay.com. You tell us what you're selling. We'll tell you you're going to pay us. We'll sell it. You pay us. Boom. Done. Twitter us up. You can find everything Tool to Play related at twitter.com/tool-to-play. Everything podcast related at twitter.com/still_got_game. King of the internet, God of everything that's fucking holding me at twitter.com/Derek Nolan.
I'm over at twitter.com/dude_I_rock.
Tiff.
Twitter.com/electrify.
Hit.
Twitter.com/I6Hitman.
No. I put everybody on the spot tonight. You guys are all getting your own calls from here on out. Get ready.
No, not ready.
Facebook the fuck out of us. Facebook.com/tool-to-play. Facebook.com/Derek Nolan.
Facebook.com/dude_I_rock.
/Tiff Nolan.
/I6Hitman. God, this is the worst.
I know.
This is why we'll leave you guys out at the end of the show, to be honest.
I know.
Jay and I have talked about this at length. We also have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/tool-to-play. That's the place to find all of Tool to Play's archive video content, whether it's episodes of this show, whether it's live streaming clips that we've saved off, whether it's quick hits, which you cannot deny now. The crowds have been directly hitting you up for quick hits. They're questioning your absence on our YouTube channel. So anything you want to say to those guys?
All lies.
So Hit is coming back with quick hits.
Coming back is basically what he said.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
He was just saying before the show.
Verbally confirmed.
He thought I was bullshitting him until people actually started tweeting at him, and now he cannot deny it. So yeah, go to youtube.com/toolplay and subscribe. Also, we need to rate and review this podcast on iTunes. We need some 5-star reviews. Go in there, give us 5 stars, write a little something nice about the show. Hey, these guys are super handsome. Oh my God, the show's super interesting. Thanks for the PAX wrap up. Oh, it's awesome. Whatever. Wherever you want to write, 5 stars, write a little something nice for us, and we'll appreciate it. We also have a Twitch channel, twitch.tv/tool-to-play. That's where Tool to Play does all of our live shit, whether it's shows like this, whether it's game streams, you name it. Twitch.tv/tool-to-play is where we do all of our live content. So there's 2 buttons there. One says subscribe, one says follow. The follow, yeah, definitely do that. That's free. But the subscribe button is where you can definitely kick back to the show and help us out. So if you are so inclined, if you love the channel, you love the show, click the subscribe button and help us out. You know what? That's where we have to go to make our money from people that love us, because nobody goes to our sponsors. They do not pay us. So the only way that you can help us out really directly is that subscribe button. So please go there, help us out, and we would really appreciate it. Right, Jay? He's shaking his head on an audio show. Well, I guess there are video people here, but yeah, the audio people were completely confused there. But yeah, he did say yes.
Not. I was muted.
Yeah, he was muted. So yeah, please go there and subscribe and help us out. So before we wrap up, I want to remind you all, you can join us each and every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, twitch.tv/toolsplay. And on that, why don't we wrap this episode up? I am Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
I am Joel Dude at Rock Albert. No, they're not going to.
I gave them a chance.
You did. You tried.
Sorry, guys.
I knew it was coming, too. The best part is that I knew it was coming.
No, you told us we were out. So now you're taking that back?
I gave you guys a chance.
No, you didn't. You said we were done.
The pause was there then.
I paused. All right, here we go. Let's pretend that never happened, guys. Here we go. I am Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
I think I'm Joel Dude at Rock Albert.
I'm Tiffany Electrified Nolan.
And I am I6 Hitman.
See you at E3.